Imagine yourself walking into a bakery in the afternoon. You're hungry, you'd like a snack, you smell some delicious chocolate chip cookies, so you wander over to the cookie stand. There you discover that cookies are selling for $2 each. How many would you buy? Another scenario, the cookies are selling for 1 cent each. How many would you buy? And still a third scenario, the cookies are free. How many would you take? Economic theory tells us that the less the price for the cookies is, the more that you would buy. But is there something special about the price of zero? This is the question that Dan Ariely and some co-authors explored with a simple experiment. At MIT, they set out a stand. Some afternoons, they offered candies for 1 cent each. Other afternoons, they offered the candies for free. Then they measured how many students would stop by and take the candies. When the candies were offered for 1 cent, 58 students stopped by. When candies are free, 207 students stopped by. As expected, offering free candies far increased the number of students that were interested. But here comes the trick. When candies were offered for 1 cent, students on the average took 3.5 candies. When they were offered for free, they took 1.1 candy. Increasing the price from 0 to 1 cent triples the number of candies the students ended up getting. Weird, huh? Researchers explain this phenomenon with social norms. When the cookies are given away for free, the social norms are in place. You don't want to take too many because you're worried about the consequences. Will there be enough left for other people? You're also worried about what others might think about you. Are you greedy? Selfish? Then, in the other situation where you're paying even as little as a penny for a cookie, the market norms are in place. You are exchanging some money for a good so that you are willing to take more cookies. You feel like you get the catch of the day and you'll wind up buying many more cookies. You won't even think about the social consequences of your excessive consumption. People tend to value free products more than they would otherwise. For instance, say you were on your way to work one day and you noticed a line at the local Starbucks. The sign said free large coffee, which normally costs $3. How long would you be willing to wait in line for a free coffee? Even though, say, you had a job that paid you $60 an hour, would it be worth your precious time to wait for a free cup of coffee? To test whether people overvalue free products, Ariely and his co-authors designed another experiment. They went to an MIT cafeteria, and next to the cashier, they set up 2 bins of chocolate. One was Hershey's, one was Lindt Truffles. They put a sign up that said only 1 chocolate per person. And then daily they would change the prices on these candies. Say one day Hershey's might be 1 cent and the Lindt was 14 cents. On another day, the Hershey was free and the Lindt was 13 cents. What would you expect to happen to the number of Lindts and Hershey's sold when the price dropped by 1 cent? Under standard economic theory, people who buy Hershey's in the first place would continue to buy Hershey's. People who buy Lindt in the first place would continue to buy Lindt. Some others who didn't buy any chocolate in the previous case might start buying it when the price drops. So the number of people who buy Hershey's or Lindts should increase. The results of this experiment painted quite a different picture. In the first case, 8% of the people bought Hershey's and 30% of the customers bought Lindt. When the prices dropped by 1 cent, 31% of the customers bought Hershey's, whereas 13% of the customers bought Lindt. A huge change in demand for such a small change in the price. With this experiment, the researchers showed that people do indeed overvalue free products. They behave as though the price of zero not only lowers the cost of the product, but also increases the value of it. There's an old Turkish and Russian proverb that says, free vinegar is sweeter than honey. But why do we see this behavior? The researchers argue this is what psychologists call affect. Affect has 2 components. Free things make people happier, and happiness affects people's decision-making abilities. In a couple of follow-up experiments, the researchers wanted to test this theory out. In the first experiment, people were to rate the attractiveness of free Hershey and Hershey priced at 1 cent. They also rated the attractiveness of Lindt priced at 13 cents and 14 cents. Free Hershey received the highest score by far, supporting the hypothesis that free products create happiness. In the second experiment, the researchers tried to mute this affective response by making the subjects carefully analyze the options. When the subjects were forced to think deliberately, the zero price effect indeed went away.